Hello YouTube, today we're going to look at the charger theft alarm and how to set it up and how it works. So let's get started. First thing we need to do is set the notification channel to have sound. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go into MacroDroid's apps settings. So that is either you do what I did, which was long press MacroDroid's icon and press app info or the little I like I did, or go through settings app and then apps and then MacroDroid, and now we're going to go in notifications and notification action high priority. We'll turn off gentle notifications because we needed to make a sound. Banners are annoying and not relevant, so I would suggest not doing that. Lock screen notifications, it's up to you, but the way it's configured at the moment, that would also get annoying. I would suggest not having it as well because we don't want it to be swiped away, but it doesn't really matter. Let's focus on sound. So you choose your sound in here. And you can either make it vibrate or not. My vibrate on this phone doesn't work, so it's off. Although I should really put it on. Anyway, it's off because it's broken. It doesn't matter, it's fine. You need to be able to allow interruptions so that if you're in do not disturb mode, it will still ring. Now that I've just said that, I've realised there's also precautions within the macro for that situation anyway, and I'll explain that in a minute. So you've set your sound, you've set your everything else up, that's fine. Now we go back into MacroDroid. Now you'll have got yours from the store, but I've got mine locally. By this point yours will be local anyhow once you've got it off the store. So what we're going to do is open the macro itself, and where it says where it says empty trigger, we're going to press that, but it also says press here and choose test trigger in this little text here. So press here and press test trigger, then it prompts you for a pin. You can wipe all this out and set your own pin, that's fine. I'm just going to put it back to 1, 2, 3, 4. You need to remember this pin because you'll need to use this to stop the alarm from going off. This is one of the two ways. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Press OK. That's saved now. Now we press the home button. You'll need to, I'm going to just get rid of this widget for now. You'll need to add your custom widget to the home screen. So in my case, what you do is you long press anywhere that there is not an icon, to any empty space. It's the same for most phones, but phones do vary. Some of the older phones, you'll go to the apps drawer and there'll be a tab that says widgets, but I'm going back as far as Android 4, so I'm guessing that that's not the case for more recent versions. So widgets, scroll right down to MacroDroid custom, which is the first one on my left here. It says CU. So long press and drag that to the space that you want it to go. So in my case I'm just going to put it here, and then choose charger theft alarm, and it'll change to this finger and round thing as if to say press me. Now you would think that you could just press the button without being plugged in and it would all work. Well, that's not the case, but that is built by design so that it doesn't just go off randomly and upset lots of people. So what we do is we press it and it's not plugged in. It'll tell you it's not working just yet. That's fine. So what we're going to do is plug the phone in. So I'm just disconnecting my other phone. I'm going to plug this one in. Have a look at the... Tell you what we're going to do first. We're going to put this on mute, and I'll explain why that is in a second. So, if you look where the battery is in the top corner, there's a vibrate icon there. It's also not charging just yet, so I'm going to plug her into charge. There we go. Oops, nearly. There we go. It's plugged into charge now. And press the widget that we've just added to enable the alarm. Now, keep your eye on the battery, which shows it's charging. I don't know if you can hear that, but there's somebody that's quite happy outside that's laughing. It's got nothing to do with me. It's literally someone's just happy. I don't know why. Obviously, it's a good thing. So, anyway, as you saw, this was put in vibrate mode, so there's an icon there to represent it next to the battery percentage. So we've pressed the icon for the widget for the alarm. I'm going to unplug it now, the charger, and after 5 seconds it's going to start beeping, so I better get the pin correct. Oops. Now, it was beeping. I got the pin wrong. I was too slow to enter the pin correctly initially. Have a look near the battery now. The battery percentage, it's taken it out of vibrate mode. That is because a notification has to display in order to make the sound. Previous versions of the alarm used to be 2 separate macros, one for getting the pin input and the other for playing the sound. But what happened was, it was really annoying because you had to download 2 macros for one action, effectively, and every time you moved the macro to another phone, the sound would fail to work, so that second macro that you downloaded was just a waste of space. So what I've done, and I'll show you, is I've put everything in one macro. So, back in MacroDroid, the alarm's not going to go off now, that's fine. We've got 3 triggers. Empty trigger, which does nothing, that's fine. Widget button, which you've just seen me click, which enables the alarm only when the battery is charging, which is done with these 2 if statements at the top. So what happens is, it checks which trigger fired, and if it was the widget, its next check is the power connected? And if not, it's going to display the pop-up here. So let's just get it to do that. It's not allowed, and it's going to cancel subsequent actions. So none of this pop-up enabled here, none of this happens. It's just completely stopped, and that's fine. Once you come out of this if statement, if the power is connected, it's not caught by that if statement and it carries on. So it sets, the alarm's enabled, it says here, it sets on off to be true at the variables at the bottom. That makes sense in a minute, and I'll explain it to you in a minute. User input set back to 0 so that the previous password can't be tried again, because obviously the last password that was typed was correct, or PIN, whatever you want to call it. While power's connected, it's just going to sit in a loop of 1 second and do nothing, that's fine. Once power's connected again, it launches home screen, sets the variable, it's asking you for the variable there in this step, so you have to put the variable, and while the variable doesn't match, the two pins don't match, the user input one, which is the one what we type, and the preset one, which is the one that you set up initially, while they don't match, it keeps asking for a pin again. Then when it's correct pin, it turns the macro off with this variable here, which is why we've set it, and the reason for that variable becomes clear now. If the power is disconnected and the macro is on, that is when this countdown happens and all this stuff happens. So it shows 3 toast messages, which is what the pop-ups are called, and it waits 5 seconds. It then takes a picture which is stored in the MacroDroid's photos folder, and I'll show you that in a minute. Changes the volume of the ringer and notification to 100% so that it can be heard, and allows all, so do not disturb is turned off. And these two actions are the reason why my vibrate mode was set to loud mode, and all the magic for the sound happens here. So while notification, while the pin is wrong and power is not connected, it displays a notification which you don't necessarily see, and it doesn't matter, but that is why there's a sound. So if I just do it once, and then it waits 2 seconds to allow the sound to play, and then clears it and does it again, but only does it while the power is disconnected and the pin is incorrect. So by plugging the phone in, it skips and we go to turn the alarm off, and the user input gets reset and it goes to the home screen. Now the reason for this bottom bit being here is so that you can set the pin. So I'm going to make a suggestion in a moment that's quite an important one, I would suggest. I'm just wondering why. Oh yeah, of course it's and. I was wondering why it was and, but of course it's and. Because we don't want it to keep, if I put the power back in, it goes off, and that's what what I wanted it to do. So my suggestion was going to be, head to MacroDroid settings, scroll right down and enable some sort of password protection. So tick the enabled and then type a password in and set it. Or if you don't want to do that, go to your macros list, scroll down to your, mine's in security, but it might be a different category for you. It depends where you put it, but you can lock the category. If you long click the category name, and you can press lock category. As it's saying here, you can apply a password or PIN, prevent them being opened and macros within being edited, but single password applied. Take care when using the features, it's never stored directly by MacroDroid, so it cannot be recovered. So take a backup of your macros before you do any password protection here. make sure not to just store them in the same folder. So there is an action for export macros. Don't store it in the same folder as MacroDroid, store it somewhere else. I would suggest what you do is, in here it's got import and export, or export and import, sorry. Press that and then share it to Total Commander or your file manager, or any, you can message yourself on Telegram in saved messages, so you can do that. I would perhaps suggest doing that, just so that the macro can't get turned off. That does mean you might lock yourself out completely with the alarm, so you just plug the power back in. Now, pictures, we'll have to have a look with Total Commander, which is just my file manager. So it is storage/emulated/0, which is at the top, and then MacroDroid, and then photos. That's where it's stored. So if I long click it and click properties, I should see that there's one image. Yeah, that's right. Now, if you don't want them stored there, what you can do is go back to your macro. So in case you didn't see, there's a tile that's called last opened macro, which annoyingly isn't the macro that we're working on, so we'll have to do this. That's my fault, actually, because I didn't make any changes in this macro. The last changes I made, the last macro I made changes to was for a different video. So go in here, and then where it says take picture, if you click that and then click configure, and you can choose whether it's front or back camera, and press OK. Then show or hide camera, I'm going to put hide for now because it's more stealthy and fun. Press OK, and then you can either set default file name and it'll save it in this path, which you can change. Oh, that's a new file manager, I haven't seen that before. Cancel choose for now. I would have just put cancel rather than cancel choose, but okay. Or custom file name, and then you can set it dynamically if you really wanted with magic text, or maybe not. Maybe it's not going to let me. I can't seem to work that out. I can't work it out, it's not working. But anyway, you can just type. I'm not typing anything important there, so I'm just going to cancel that. And then you've seen the default location, so you've got the capacity to change it yourselves underneath the file picker that we looked at a minute ago. And that is how that works. I don't know what else you want to do with it. You can do other stuff with it if you want. Anything to catch people out needs to go below this wait 5 seconds. So if you wanted a text, so you could do, so what I would suggest is where it's got the volume, press that and then press add action above and then use the search. So if you wanted force location update, and then press where it says volume again and add action above, SMS, I don't know, don't put that as a number because it won't work, but put a real number. And then in message text you can put, scroll down and find last known location, I think it's called. Yeah, that's it. Oh, link. Where's link? Do that and it'll do whatever it's doing. I would, if you're doing location like this, put a wait between. So press where it says send SMS, add action above, type wait, and then wait before next action, and then set be about 10 seconds, and that's what that does then. I don't want this. No, careful. So I'm going to do this and then save. It's a new feature that actually. It's been in a couple of versions, but if you press the dots in the top corner, you can press, if you've made a change, you can press save changes. Let's just make a change. You've got save changes button there, just in case you hadn't noticed. That's a thing. So, yeah. Anyway, I think that's just about covered it. I will, I'll let you go and I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Anyway, thanks for watching and take care. Goodbye.